Hi, Women Helping Women Entrepreneurs. It's Debra Morrison here, your financial coach with Women Navigating Finances. And I'm coming to you today lakeside. Probably there'll be birds chirping in the background, maybe some Canadian geese flying by. We might be treated to a swan, but I wanted to get us out of that indoor environment. And this is my second home, which is a complete area where I can unwind. It is unbelievably peaceful, and it quells my spirit after having been so type A cubed most of the days. What I want to talk today about is women over 50, and I'm going to highlight 10 financial mistakes women over 50 make and how to avoid them, because after all, what's the point in knowing a mistake if in fact you could fall prey to it? So let's start at the top. I named it 10 financial mistakes, not investment mistakes. You see, the media promulgating 24-hour news, which mostly has to do with, tickers running across the top or the bottom of your screen, showing price variations each nanosecond, is quite beyond the real point of women navigating our finances. And what do I mean by this? Finances is a whole lot bigger than our investments. And sometimes we women get caught up in which stock, which mutual fund, which exchange traded fund. Should I have an annuity? Should I have this type of investment or that? I'm fond of saying, and there are many attorneys on this group, one lawsuit can ruin your whole morning. So finances is about managing our risks. Now, I happen to have practiced financial planning and asset management the last 20 years as a fiduciary, fee-only planner, but I practiced a total of 42 years. That's older than some of you have lived. And I say that to give you the background that I know a lot of the perils that women face. And I want to help you keep your financial car's tire out of those potholes. Isn't that the point? Isn't that the point of us helping each other? So allow my experience to perhaps speak to you in any number of these mistakes, if they will, and then you take that corrective action so that you limit your losses. A lot of times women, maybe because of our socialization, I don't know, our perfectionistic endeavors, that we're afraid to make a move because we might make a mistake, right? And it's common knowledge in our field that people feel twice as poorly about an equal dollar loss as they do about an equal dollar gain. So what does that tell us? Perhaps we need to keep ourselves out of those deep ravines, because the ascent back up is harder if we go and fall deeper. That's the point of a good financial planner. That's the point of a good financial coach, which is my penchant now to keep women out of those deep ravines. We're all going to make mistakes. I have made plenty of them. Yet what we want to do is think about our end game. I call that our big why. Many of us are watching the Olympics, and Katie Ledecky, for one, talks about the end, and then she rewinds back to figure out what she needs to do to achieve that end. No different in finances. So it's up to you to figure out your why. Then it's up to professionals like me to help you craft strategies so that you can get there more safely, maybe in record time, and with a whole lot of fun and a lot of happiness, not just at the end, along the way. So, what are these mistakes? Well, I'm going to give you a link at the end, and you can go and download them yourself, in which I give you videos accompanying each one of the 10 mistakes, plus a PDF, so you can hear it, listen to it, watch it, and or read it at your leisure. First, let's just talk about what used to be called retirement. Some people bristle at that term. I just did read a stat that over 50% of American women expect to work past age 65 if they expect to retire at all. And of those, 84% cite the reason for working that long is financial. So, how do we right these gender inequity pay scales and investment holdings ills so that we can enjoy our later years. I don't care if you call them retirement or what you call them. First thing to remember, though, is this is not going to be your parents' retirement. I know a lot of us have parents that are still alive. We're lucky enough to do that. And we see them with the RV behind the truck, and they're running around the United States, and they're getting that check in their checking account every single month. I dare say few of us are going to retire with defined benefit pensions. Remember that $2,000 a month and the watch as they finish their one and only job? Many of us have had 4 or 5 careers. Maybe we haven't built up the retirement base and the 401k or 403b asset base that's otherwise going to help us supplement our Social Security. Our parents likely retired with no stay-at-home kids. How many have boomerang kids right now, right? Come back to live with you. Not so much for our parents. We kind of split. And then most of our parents have medical insurance paid for life, right? And a house free and clear. Some of us don't have all of those accoutrements. So, is it a dead-end street? Is it hopeless? Absolutely not. It just does require us to be more intentional about it. And I want to say, if we pay attention to our money, it will pay us back. Yet you might want to narrow your focus to exactly what you would pay attention to instead of this price of this particular stock this minute versus next minute. Another aspect that I think women over 50 sometimes fall prey to is that the interrelationship between investments and tax and planning is lost on them. They just don't have the knowledge about taxes that many of us professionals do, so that they make an investment choice and it hits the proverbial domino called tax, and before you know it, you're into having some kind of a major investment choice significantly alter your tax picture. So you want to plan for this. I can't be more emphatic about the necessity and the way planning helps save us tons and tons of money. So we definitely want to plan. The other thing is, what Social Security income stream should you take first and then adopt later? Many of us are eligible for more than one Social Security stream. And it might come as a surprise to you that the Social Security staff members are forbidden by contract for rendering advice. Yet what does everybody go to the Social Security person for? Online or in person? Advice. Well, what would you do? They could be fired for telling you advice. They're not schooled in that. They don't have the capability to tell you advice. You need to go to a fee-only planner for that. And I've done many of those graphs, sideways, diagonally. Believe me, the numbers can be significantly different. I mean, one of the differences in the order in which a woman took her Social Security benefits was over $400,000, just with an average life expectancy. Many people don't know that if you're married to one person for 10 years, you're eligible for a divorcee benefit. So traditionally, the man has earned more, marries, divorces, marries another person. Maybe he could marry 4 people for 10 years at a time, and all 4 of those spouses will be eligible to collect on his social without dinging his social. That might give you a little insight into why our Social Security system is a little bit upside down. But it's incumbent upon you to do the digging. And mainly, you're not going to even know sometimes where to dig or what to dig for. So go to a fee-only financial planner and figure out what digging you need to do in order to make your road so much easier. Now, basically, some of us get our investment advice from the TV, right? The pundits. And what do we see them doing when the market takes a precipitous dive downward? Veins popping. The market's crashing. The market's crashing. You know, the clear inference is, well, don't just sit there, stupid. Do something. Well, what do many of us do? Sell. Panic, sell. Scares, sell. When we do that, we've just locked in some very punishing losses. Stay the course. Stay the course. Manage our expectations around money and how long we're going to hold money, because that dictates the success of our portfolios and our glorious and beautifully abundant retirements as many of us hoped for. And invite you to hope for it too, because you can have it. Yes, you can. The other thing, this perfection paralysis is got to go, women. I mean, have you raised your kids or been a perfect partner? Doubt it. You're not going to be a perfect investor. I'm in the business. I made huge mistakes. We will make mistakes, and we will recover. I don't know if many of you caught it, but there was an Olympian track heat in which a woman completely fell down on the track, got up and won the heat. How about if she'd have said, "Oh, I fell. My knee's skinned. Not gonna do that again." You know, did you ever burn a tray of cookies? Did you ever, ruin a dinner? You move on. Even when your financial losses are groups of zeros, you move on. Because our longevity is such that we're likely to be living alone for 10 plus years of our life. And sometimes those later years cost a lot more. Now, we've been lulled into this low environment of inflation for a good decade. And trust me, that will heat up, and it will cause the costs of goods and services to heat up as well. We've seen some of that post-pandemic, but you haven't seen anything yet. I mean, I remember nickel ice cream cones, 29-cent gas. How about you? If you think you're going to be able to buy an automobile 5, 10, 15 years out, or rent a hospital bed 5, 10, 15 years out at the same price that they're charging today, think again. I remember when the richest man in our town had $100,000. I paid twice as much for my car at age 24 than my parents paid for their house. What am I meaning and drawing these analogies? What am I wanting to convey? We cannot, as investors and mature women investors, be stuck in certificates of depreciation for our long-term goals, because certificates of depreciation won't keep pace with taxes or inflation. We must learn how to be stock market investors, because over time, the last 80 years, it's superseded the return of every other asset class, including real estate, for 80 plus years. It's not scary unless we have been led to believe that. So now, let's just welcome in some new information. Pop that head open, pull out the crap that's tamped us down and caused us to not live fulfilled retirements, and put some good stuff in. That's the point of a good coach. That's what I want to bring to your life. That's what these Olympian coaches are bringing to their athletes' lives. Hey, don't do that stroke. You cut a second off of your time there, right? I know a lot of my clients, even though we disabused them of the notion or attempted to, looked at their statements each quarter, and people were pretty myopic about how did my investment portfolio do compared to the Standard & Poor 500, right? I tell you, one of the best financial pieces of advice I gave was to a multi-million-dollar investing family with me. We did pretty well with their investments. But the day I saved them $250,000 in income tax was a really good day. They never forgot it. Debra, with two CPAs sitting in the room, they hadn't come up with the idea. Now, I'm not Jesus Christ wrapped in the flesh, but I have been trained in all of these disciplines as a fiduciary planner. And that lends me to know when one domino is going to hit the next one. People get all hung up on estate planning because they know, or they actually don't get hung up these days on estate planning because there's very few of the American public that are going to pay estate tax, because we have in our head estate planning, estate tax. Well, okay, great. Estate tax is one component of it. Estate planning is, what do you want as the distribution of your assets, your intellectual property? Where do you want it to go? Who's going to further your life's mission? How will your legacy be shaped? Largely based upon who inherits what you have started. So something as simple as changing your beneficiary designations, like on 2 jobs ago's 401k. I don't know how many people come to me divorced and their ex-spouse is still the primary beneficiary on their 401k that they left at the former job. You know how much that costs? 5 minutes, get a form, sign it, fax it. Preferably fax it with a tracer or send it certified return receipt requested. You don't want your heirs to face the insurance company a decade later when you're dead and the insurance company says, well, I didn't get that beneficiary change notification. It's still Mr. ex-husband. So these little details are what are going to keep our trajectory, well, probably not straight because life has zigs and zags. Yet it's going to keep us on the path that we want to be on, right? So, in essence, we need to get over our perfectionism and go ahead and take strategic action. And if you don't know what you're doing, get professional advice. Then you could pull back, learn from it, take some actions, monitor it. I mean, this is, one of the 10 mistakes is trusting that your do-it-yourself partner has done it right. Wow, that's a little dicey. Some of us women haven't been involved in our finances and our partner's done it all. Now you get this bright idea from Debra and you say to your partner, I heard a financial coach, say that I should probably be involved. Well, you know what the partners may think, especially if it's a guy? Uh-oh, she wanting a divorce? Now she wants to know how much money we have? This is dicey. You can't just launch into this one Thursday afternoon. Plan it, be open about it, and be open to learning something new. Just like you probably learned the lessons about the rules of soccer when your granddaughter took it up as a sport. 2 years earlier, did you give one hoot about it? Probably not. So when people say, it's too late for me, I can't understand it, guess what? We women are hardwired with common sense. And money and finances are largely common sense. I say we have to be as smart as squirrels. In the Northeast, you see squirrels around August and September, cheeks bulging with nuts. They're gathering nuts because it's going to snow and they can't find nuts when there's snow on the ground. And they're going to take those nuts. Are they going to eat them all? Nope. Because they have to eat November and December and January and February. Going to take the excess nuts. In other words, you're not going to spend every nickel that you have, and you're going to put them away someplace in order that you will still have food for months and years to follow. So these are a number of the financial mistakes that women over 50 make. And I'll just touch on one more. A lot of women, I'm a certified grief coach too, so I've held the hand of many people who are dying, and I have advised and counseled and coached many survivors. I know for sure this life is not a dress rehearsal. COVID has taught us that. And so some people are of the opinion, so-and-so lost their husband or so-and-so lost their partner at age 50 and they didn't take that Hawaiian vacation or around the world cruise. And so I want to spend some of that time and money with my partner as we're able-bodied, or myself as a single person, as I'm able-bodied. I want to spend it now. But see, we don't necessarily know how much we can spend now without severely compromising our nest egg for the future. A good financial planner, fiduciary financial planner with the proper software, just tell you right like that. And do what-if scenarios with you. Well, Debra, if you go ahead and you accelerate your round-the-world cruise and you take it this year instead of next, this is how it will impact you. See, there's always an answer to a financial dilemma. Whether the financial situation is one that we kind of tick off on an automatic basis, our kid is going to go to college, our grandkid is going to go to college, we're going to retire, we're eligible for Social Security, we're eligible to take out of our IRA, all of these expected things. Let me just tell you, one of the most devastating aspects of a person's financial life is dealing with the unexpected. And without a financial plan, even a cursory financial plan for the expected, I want to tell you, the unexpected will set most people back probably a multiple of months or years, simply because they feel like there's nothing to hang on to. There's nothing sure anymore. Well, there's a certain component of that that's true, and then there's a certain component that people with the plan say, whew, this came out of left field. Let me look back at my plan. Okay, I have to switch this, tweak that, and so forth. You're not going to do this yourself on a Saturday afternoon, or you're not going to do it as effectively as you will with a fee-only financial advisor. I have no shirt in this game. I'm no longer a practicing certified financial planner. Yet I do know, and I have unwound a number of unsuitable high commission sales of non-fiduciary financial planners. And so that's why I'm suggesting that you log an appointment with a fee-only, and it's called fiduciary, certified financial planner. And the best way to distinguish it is ask your financial planner how they're paid. And if it's not, if the answer isn't fees only, look again. Because the difference in those two types of planners are about as different as a grape is from a watermelon. Both fruits, really different. So, in order to get this list of 10 and the videos, please go to womennavigatingfinances.com/10 mistakes. Again, I'll post it below, womennavigatingfinances, plural.com/10 mistakes. And shoot me questions. I have a Facebook group, Women Navigating Finances public group. Pop on over, shoot me some questions. Let's get into a dialogue before some of those unexpected events hit us out of nowhere, if you will. And then let's start laying the foundation for us to reap real rich rewards in every capacity as we age. We can do it, women. Yes, we can.